Hey everyone, Talha Anjum and his album called Open Letter. Right, so previously we heard Secrets, which we loved, but today we are gonna listen to Downers at Dusk, which is my absolute favorite track of this whole album. Along with Open Letter itself, which is something of a different sort of favorite. Once we get there, we will talk about it. But yeah, today,
We
you
should
wanna add anything?
no, I think you have made quite big claims around it as well to me on chat that this is probably their
Okay, yeah.
best work. So let's listen to it and then we talk about
Let's do it. All right, three, two, one, play.
it.
Each single line of this track is just
Sometimes the people we like don't like us back. It's painful, but there's nothing we can do about it. You don't understand. I do understand. I know what it's like when someone doesn't feel the same way about you.
गम बेहिसाब थे अलग ही वफा के ज़ाब्ते अलग ही हैं अगर मंजिलें तो क्यों ना अलग ही रखें हम रास्ते क्यों ना आज से मिटा दें ये किस्मत हम हाथ से और सहन आज़ाद हो याद से हम मिट जाएं जा मिले खाक से तेरे शहर भी आए पर सफ़र से ख़त्म ना हुए ये फासले जख्म भरे ना बड़े बेरहम से पेश आए हैं हाथ से बात निकाली कि तेरे दिल पे लग जाए मेरी बात कोई तू टूटते तारों पे मांगे मुझे तुझे मयसर हो ऐसी रात कोई I've been working a lot लिखना नहीं छोड़ता लिखना ही तोड़ है बिकते हैं ये गाने लाखों में क्या ये सब पैसे का शोर है कल साथ ना होंगे पर याद तो होगी और बोलो ना जिंदगी क्या है यादों की माला है यादों के अलावा कभी कुछ बाकी रहा है किसी ने क्या खूब कहा है तेरे दरमियां बस तू ही खड़ा है झुकाव जरूरी है उससे जाहिर होता है कि तू ही बड़ा है जिसे गए हुए खुद से जमाना हुआ वो तुम में भटकता है मैं खुद नहीं हूँ ये कोई और है मुझ में जो तुमको तरसता है वजूद एक तमाशा था हम जो देखते थे वो भी एक तमाशा है मेरे दिल की गुजारिश के मुझे मत छोड़ो ये झांका तकाजा है हम जिंदगी ढूंढते ढूंढते मौत के मुंह में ही जाते रहे पर हम ठहरे कलाकार खोज में भी गुनगुनाते रहे आओ ना कि तुम ही तो हो जीने की वजह कि बैठे बैठे कर ही दी सुबह ना तू आया ना ही तेरा है पता साहिबा मैं लेने आया हूँ तेरी खबर तू देख ले जो अब मेरी तरफ तो हो खत्म मेरी भी ये सजा तुम मेरी यादों में साथ हो तुम जाके भी मेरे पास हो तुम्हारे ही दम से जिंदा मर गया जो तुमसे फुर्सत हो तुम मेरी किताबों की तरह हो तुम सामने हो लेकिन बंद हो ये दिल क्यों इरादों के जैसा नहीं कि टूटे नहीं अभी तक वो मैंने जो चाहा वो पाया है हुनर से घर भी चलाया है उम्र से फर्क नहीं पड़ता बड़ा वो है जिसने बन के दिखाया है म्यूजिक हराम वो बोले फिर मेरे ऊपर किस खुदा का साया है घड़ी नाराज वो खड़ी नाराज के म्यूजिक पे क्यों इतना टाइम लगाया है ख्वाब तो ख्वाब हैं उनका पूरा होना कोई ज़रूरी तो नहीं है ख्वाहिश तो ख्वाहिश है आखिर ज़िंदगी भी कोई मजबूरी तो नहीं है मुझे गम दे सोख दे ले जा ये दिल बेशक इसे तोड़ दे वो मोहब्बत ही क्या जो तुम छोड़ आए वो मोहब्बत तो नहीं अगर छोड़ गए तुम ही गुरूर थी तुम में ही नूर था तुम भी बेजार थी मैं भी मजबूर था ये भी एक दौर है वो भी एक दौर था ये तेरी खामोशी तो क्या वो शोर था जिससे तू मिली वो कोई और था पर अपना मिलना भी अब मौत सा मैं तो गानों में जिंदगी गाता हूँ क्या पता तुम्हें पसंद हो कौन सा ना कि तुम ही तो हो जीने की वजह कि बैठे बैठे कर ही दी सुबह ना तू आया ना ही तेरा है पता साहिबा मैं लेने आया हूँ तेरी खबर तू देख ले जो अब मेरी तरफ तो हो खत्म मेरी भी ये सजा
Okay,
All right.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So,
Shoot.
during our chat, you claimed that this is probably their best work, or Talha Anjum's best work, lyrically, even more so than Guman, right? And I know how much you love
If
Guman,
not more.
if not more.
Yeah.
So, what makes you think that this song is superior than Guman?
All right. So yeah, maybe my emotions were talking, but let me explain. Let me explain. I think Guman was one where I fell in love with youngsters, right? So we have been following youngsters, since a long, long time,
Hmm.
since our university days, right? Guman was the track that is still my absolute favorite. Lyrically, the music itself, the beat itself, everything. And then it also has Tala Yunus as well, right?
Hmm.
Now this track, Guman, also is not, I mean, that's old school rap or hip hop,
Hmm.
which also sounds a lot like a song,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
This is this particular track is also not new school hip hop, right? It
Yeah.
is also pretty much old school. It is a tiny bit more rap than a song,
Hmm.
although it has a very beautiful melody as well, right?
Hmm.
Kuman has a beautiful melody as well. Now, why I compared both these songs is there are some hip hop tracks where each single bar
Hmm.
hits you different, right? Each single bar has a lot of depth, a lot of meaning, and each one is beautiful. Guman had it. Guman's each single bit, each single bar would hit you,
Hmm.
right? This one has it. This one, each single line,
Yeah.
each single bar, it's the beautiful poetry, deep. Some of them are just so deep. I mean, for some people, some bars were hit differently than others.
Hmm.
To me, for me, some of the bars, we would go through them, just hit me different.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, overall, the weight, the depth this track has lyrically in the whole album, this is on top.
Hmm. I mean, Tala Anjum for me as well. Here he actually killed it with his rhymes. So he has got flow smoother than butter on hot toast in this particular track, and the lyrics are so sharp, so I mean, I can imagine why you felt this song is probably his best because it's kind of on the similar lines like Guman. Even the start felt to me a bit like Guman as well, and you absolutely love that song. I completely second you on that. For me, it's the second best that has come out of young Stunner or Talanjum's musicology. The first one will always be Afsane for me. I can have heated debate with anyone who says that Afsane is not a masterpiece. I can I mean I can't let it go without mentioning Afsane in every young Stunner or Talanjum video. So pardon me for that. But coming back to this particular track, what a genius writing Talha Anjum has done again. He just keeps on one-upping himself every now and then. And how can you become such an amazing poet or writer at such a young age is just remarkable. Just let that sink in for a moment.
Absolutely.
Some lines, he's probably just 25 or 26 at the moment, but some of these lines are so hard hitting that,
So hard hitting.
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, he probably reads a lot of poetry, a lot of
Obviously,
literature.
yeah.
He does probably, right? And there is a lot of influence
Hmm.
on his writing. I mean,
True.
we used to, in a certain age, we used to read a lot of poetry as well. Both
Hmm.
me and you,
Hmm.
right? And we had that influence at that time as well. He has a consistent, continuous study
Yeah.
of Urdu literature and poetry, and it shows. It shows every single bar. There are some bars that are so simple yet so deep,
Yeah.
so meaningful that I just cannot. I just cannot. So one thing before we move to the bars, the magic that UMAIR has weaved around this track is just brilliant as well. You know, this it elevates this whole poetry, the whole lyrics.
True.
It just elevates it to the next level, right? It's nothing special, nothing bombastic, nothing extravagant. Very very simple, very melodic. Uh, yeah, that's UMAIR genius.
I was actually thinking at one stage that why have, because the kind of melodious track that this is, and the way Talha Anjum is actually going about it, the way he's singing it. At one point, I actually start thinking that why haven't they added electronic bass a little more to support him? But I was completely wrong. You are completely right about it. That the simplicity that he has weaved around this particular track is what is required. And I mean, he's 20. Where is just 20, and the level of
Younger than 20,
probably younger than 20, I think 19, yeah. And the level of
19, yeah.
sensitivity that he has at the moment, not only sensitivity, the
Seventh. He's a seventh.
oh,
He's a
absolutely
seventh prodigy, right?
prodigy.
All right. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna go through the bars, the lyrics,
I have them open
and
as well.
stop me wherever. Right. So stop me wherever you want to add anything, or some of the bars that hit you more than they hit me. Do it. All right. All right. गम पे हिसाब थे अलग ही वफा के ज़ाब्ते अलग ही हैं अगर मंजिलें तो क्यों ना अलग ही रखें हम रास्ते क्यों ना आज से मिटा दें ये किस्मत हम हाथ से और जहन आज़ाद हो याद से हम मिट जाएं जामिल खाक से by the way before we continue what is he talking about? I want to hear your opinion. What is this?
Okay, so
What is he doing?
um,
What is he saying?
so for me, it felt really similar to what he was trying to communicate in Guman as well. It's um, to me, it seems like a broken heart. He's reminiscing about someone who he had loved, and she is no longer with him, and he's trying to emote through his verses how he feels about her and how the distance between them has gone a bit more. It has stretched a bit more with every single passage, with every passing second, and how he feels about it now.
Right. Although there's one addition that I would say that it might be about some distance coming between them, but it has one differentiating factor than Kuman, that this track has hope.
Interesting.
This track has hope that they might come together
Okay, interesting.
sometime, someday. Right? I mean, we would see in the lyrics, so गम पे हिसाब थे अलग ही वफा के ज़ाब्ते अलग ही हैं अगर मंजिल तो क्यों ना अलग ही रखे हम रास्ते क्यों ना आज से मिटा दें ये किस्मत हम हाथ से और जहन आज़ाद हो याद से हम मिट जाएं जामिल खाक से. You know, he's just talking about, he's just showing anger in this part, some frustration that, you know what, if अलग ही हैं अगर मंजिल तो क्यों ना अलग ही रखे हम रास्ते,
रास्ते.
you know, क्यों ना हम आज से मिटा दें किस्मत हम हाथ से और जहन आज़ाद हो याद से. Right? यादें माजी आज़ाद
अज़ाब
है
है
यार.
यार. Yeah, छीन ले
Right?
मुझसे हाफ़िज़ा
It's a
मेरा.
similar thing. छीन ले मुझसे हाफ़िज़ा मेरा. Exactly this. और जहन आज़ाद हो याद से हम मिट जाएं जामिल खाक से. Right? तेरे शहर भी आए पर सफ़र से ख़त्म ना हुए ये फासले. You know, this simple line.
Beautiful line.
तेरे शहर भी आए. It's so deep. It's so beautiful. तेरे शहर भी आए पर सफ़र से ख़त्म ना हुए ये फासले. Oh damn! I mean, hot damn! How would you? You know, we used to do this. शायर इस शेर में तशरीह करते वक्त शायर इस शेर में ये कह रहे हैं. You know, we used to do tashri.
Yeah,
We used to do explanation in our school days. How would you do that? जख्म भरे ना बड़े बेरहम से पेश आए हैं हाथ से. जख्म भरे ना. They just don't heal. बड़े बेरहम से पेश आए हाथ से. बात से बात निकाली कि तेरे दिल पे लग जाए कोई बात कोई. बात से बात निकाली कि तेरे दिल पे लग जाए मेरी बात कोई. तू
तू
टूटे हुए
टूटते
तारे,
तार से
तू
पे मांगे।
टूटते तार मुझे मैसर होते ऐसी कोई रात, ऐसी रात कोई, बात से बात, दिस इज होप, बात से बात निकाली कि तेरे दिल पे लग जाए मेरी बात
करेक्ट।
कोई, राइट। तू टूटते तारों पे मांगे मुझे, तुझे मैसर हो ऐसी रात कोई, देयर इज होप. Maybe she also wants to get together. I've been a I've been a while a lot. I've been working a lot. लिखना नहीं छोड़ता, लिखना ही तोड़ है. बिकते हैं ये गाने लाखों में, क्या ये सब पैसे का शोर है. कल साथ ना होंगे पर याद तो होगी, और बोलना जिंदगी क्या है. Again, this line hit me so much. कल साथ ना होंगे पर याद तो होगी, और बोलना जिंदगी क्या है. People come and go. People, death is even
Inevitable,
death
yeah.
is inevitable, right. So कल साथ ना होंगे पर याद तो होगी, और बोलना जिंदगी क्या है. यादों की माला है, यादों के अलावा कभी कुछ बाकी रहा है.
Exactly.
It's such a universal truth, but the way he has expressed it, कल साथ ना होंगे पर याद तो होगी, और बोलना जिंदगी क्या है. It is what it is, yeah. It is. He's just spitting truths, but the way he's phrasing them, you can phrase them to hit you differently, to hurt you. But
Yeah.
he is phrasing them in a manner that is just making this whole situation just more beautiful.
Absolutely.
Even more beautiful, right? यादों की माला है, यादों के अलावा कभी कुछ बाकी रहा है. किसी ने क्या खूब कहा है, तेरे दरमियाँ बस तू ही खड़ा है. झुकाव ज़रूरी है, उससे ज़ाहिर होता है कि तू ही बड़ा है. This is where probably he's talking about there's some sort of arrogance, some sort of ghurur, there's some sort of ego involved in that other party, and he's preaching humility, झुकाव ज़रूरी है, इससे ज़ाहिर होता है कि तू भी बड़ा है. किसी ने क्या खूब कहा है, तेरे दरमियाँ बस तू, you are the center of your own universe. झुकाव ज़रूरी है, उससे ज़ाहिर होता है कि तू ही बड़ा है. Some sort of he's just humbly telling that other person that a little humility goes a long way. All right. जिसे गए हुए खुद से ज़माना हुआ, वो तुम में भटकता है. मैं खुद नहीं हूँ, ये कोई और है मुझ में जो तुमको तरासता है. वजूद एक तमाशा था, हम जो देखते थे वो भी एक तमाशा है. है मेरी दिल की गुजारिश कि मुझे मत छोड़ो, ये जान का तकाजा है. Again there is some hope, right? हम जिंदगी ढूंढते मौत के मुंह में ही जाते रहे, फिर हम ठहरे कलाकार, खोज में भी गुनगुनाते रहे.
Now, so this particular bit just broke me. I mean, he has written all these lines. That the last part, खोज में भी गुनगुनाते रहे, पर हम ठहरे कलाकार, खोज में भी गुनगुनाते रहे. So,
खोज में भी,
what else can I say about it?
and he's making everyone who is listening to it humming along. Everyone is गुनगुनाते रहे. I was गुनगुनाते रहे during
Singing
this track,
along throughout.
right? All right, then there is chorus. आओ ना कि तुम ही तो हो जीने की वजह, कि बैठे बैठे कर ही दी सुबह, ना तू आया ना तेरा ही पता. I mean, again, बैठे बैठे कर ही दी सुबह. He's just waiting for that person to come back or see the light of the day, that this is the destiny according to Talha. Right? साहिबा, मैं लेने आया हूँ तेरी खबर, तू देख ले जो अब मेरी तरफ, तो हो ख़त्म मेरी भी ये सज़ा. Alright, verse 2. तुम मेरी यादों में साथ हो, तुम जाके भी मेरे पास हो, तुम्हारे ही दम से जिंदा, मर गया जो तुमसे फुर्सत हो. This तुम्हारे ही दम से जिंदा, मर गया जो तुमसे
फुर्सत, the word फुर्सत.
तो मर गया जो तुमसे फुर्सत हो.
हो.
I mean, how beautiful. How beautiful. If I get free of your thoughts, it would be equivalent to
his demise, his
dying.
death.
Yeah. Damn. तुम मेरी किताबों की तरह हो, तुम मेरे सामने हो लेकिन बंद हो. तुम मेरी किताबों की, I mean, Again, so simple yet so brilliant.
Mm,
We have had the situation where we are just staring at the box
mm,
and they are not telling us anything.
mm. Correct.
Alright, ये दिल क्यों इरादों के जैसा नहीं कि टूटे नहीं अब तक वो इरादे तो टूटते रहे
Mm,
पर दिल नहीं टूटा अभी
mm,
तक. अगेन देयर इज
mm.
होप. मैंने जो चाहा वो पाया है, हुनर से घर भी चलाया है, उम्र से फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, बड़ा वो है जो जिसने बन के दिखाया है.
Mm.
म्यूज़िक हराम वो बोले फिर मेरे ऊपर किस खुदा का साया है. And then this bit is just, I mean, it's fun, but घड़ी नाराज वो खड़ी नाराज म्यूजिक पे क्यों इतना टाइम लगाया है. This is it's deep, but it's fun. घड़ी नाराज वो खड़ी नाराज म्यूजिक पे क्यों इतना टाइम लगाया है. This can be said in so many
Yeah.
other situations. Now these two verses, the subsequent verses, ख्वाब तो ख्वाब हैं, उनका पूरा होना कोई ज़रूरी तो नहीं है.
Mm.
ख्वाब तो ख्वाब हैं, उनका पूरा होना तो कोई ज़रूरी तो नहीं है. ख्वाहिश तो ख्वाहिश है, आखिर ज़िंदगी भी कोई मजबूरी तो नहीं है. This share is just, this is the most hard hitting
Mm.
bars for me. In
Yeah.
this whole track, this was the most. ख्वाब तो ख्वाब हैं, उनका पूरा होना कोई ज़रूरी तो नहीं है. You have a lot of dreams, but they won't all come true. And
Correct.
not necessarily, right? Not all of them would come true. ख्वाहिश तो ख्वाहिश है, आखिर ज़िंदगी भी कोई मजबूरी तो नहीं है. आखिर ज़िंदगी भी कोई मजबूरी तो नहीं है. You don't have to live it.
Mm.
You don't have to. Oh my God. This was, yeah. मुझे गम दे सोख दे, ले जा ये दिल बेशक से तोड़ दे. वो मोहब्बत ही क्या जो तुम छोड़ आए, वो मोहब्बत तो नहीं अगर छोड़ गए. तुम ही गरूर थी, तुम में ही नूर था, तुम भी बेजार थी, मैं भी मजबूर था. ये भी एक दौर है, वो भी एक दौर था. ये तेरी खामोशी तो क्या वो शोर था. जिसे तू मिली वो कोई और था, जिसे तू मिली वो कोई और था. क्या पता तुम्हें पर अपना मिलना भी एक मौजा. मैं तो गानों में जिंदगी गाता हूँ, क्या पता तुम्हें पसंद हो कौन सा. See, hope. He has hope. He's just writing. He's just saying his heart out. He's just pouring his heart out in hope that maybe she, yeah. I don't know how to.
I mean, this is completely
again,
true. I mean, you are correct about this. That in Kumar, it was how should I put it? It was completely a broken heart, which had no hope at all, and they actually were um, probably had slight hate towards the counterpart as well. If you focus on some of the lines, resentment towards them, and it was clear that she's gone and gone. So there's no hope left at all. But here, you are right. If you observe the verses thoroughly, it feels like that he is still just continuing to reminisce about her and just to, in some way, reach out to her. And maybe he's just hoping that someday they might be getting together. Um, the last line of this particular, the second verse, मैं तो गानों में जिंदगी गाता हूँ, क्या पता तुम्हें पसंद हो कौन सा. So this is just he telling her loved one that he just keeps on writing random tracks about his own life, and he kind of hopes that some of them might resonate with her. Some of them. He's just wishful about it. So I mean, he is just pleading, but not directly, which is really interesting in this particular verse.
Yeah, so this track, I've been listening to it like every single day, multiple times, and every single time, the way he delivers these verses. I mean, writing is one thing. You read poetry, and it hits you different. But then, the way it is said, the way it is delivered, can add a lot of weight behind
Mm, mm,
these weighty poetry, and the way he has delivered it is just brilliant. His pronunciation, his delivery, Urdu from his mouth sounds lovelier,
true.
right? He's along with he is in that category. Zia Muhyiddin, Moin Akhtar, Anwar Maqsood,
Absolutely. He's
these folks, from their mouth, Urdu sounds beautiful.
beautiful.
From his mouth, Urdu sounds beautiful. You fall in love with Urdu again and again. I mean, since we have been listening to youngsters, Talha Anjum, Talha Yunus, I have fallen in love with Urdu multiple times.
Absolutely.
I have been
Absolutely.
thinking, of taking up poetry, reading of poetry again.
Correct.
You know,
It has happened to
uh,
me as well.
how can you how can you not fall in love? How can you not?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
this is the brilliance of the artist, that not only his art is a reflection of himself, but then he forces you to fall in love
Mm,
with not only the artist, but the art itself, and along with other aspects of it, the language itself, the poetry itself, the aspect of the language, literature.
mm,
But from his work, I've been drawn to literature. I've been drawn to poetry. This
mm,
is his
mm.
brilliance.
Absolutely.
Oh man, what a poet! All
He
right.
is he is
I mean,
genius.
I can talk. I think probably we can both talk about Talha Anjum and his work, and Talha Yunus as well, and their work, and what I mean, their contribution
Mm,
all night.
absolutely.
Huge contribution to the literature.
Yeah. And to the Desi hip hop as well. I love the fact that they are doing conventional hip hop, but they also throw in tracks like this every now and then. So it's their usual theme as well. And one interesting
I,
bit is that Tala Anjum usually he leaves some, or even youngest channels for that fact, they leave some Easter eggs in their verses or in their music or some or even in the poster that they have. So I would try to find out some influences in this poetry. I think he might have drawn some influence of obviously from the Urdu poets that he usually reads or look up to. So I would try because some of the verses that I read, I kind of think that like the one that you mentioned, Yad Mazi Azab Arab. So it's kind of those thoughts that he is also trying to put in his poetry, and he on occasion uses some one or two verses from other poets as well. Probably he might have done it here as well. So yeah, again, we would have to look up to literature because of him, because of the way he does this piece of art. So this is kudos to Talanjum.
yeah. By the way, the album art has him sitting at dusk. So
Hmm.
behind there's dusk there, right? And there are a lot of other Easter eggs. But
Hmm.
yeah, Downers at Dusk.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up because this will take so many. I think if we start to dissect it properly, it will probably require a lot of minutes, a lot of hours.
It doesn't need dissection, right? So he doesn't. I mean, most of the time, he is about poetry and lyrics, right?
Hmm.
There's no crazy flows, there's no crazy rhyming schemes,
Hmm.
and I personally, I mean, different hip hop fans value different things. I personally don't value crazy rhyming schemes,
Hmm.
crazy, flows and all. I'm
Hmm.
all about poetry.
Hmm.
So that's why Talanjum and Yunus, they appeal to me personally so much more.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So let's conclude it here. I think we are gonna listen to few more tracks from this album because we absolutely love this particular album. I think we
The,
both love Open Letter. As you mentioned, Open Letter in the
the
beginning.
next up is the next up would be Open Letter,
Yeah,
100%.
100% for me as well. So let's do it someday. And thank you for listening this particular track with us and just how we went through the lyrics. Hopefully you liked it as well. Let us know your thoughts around it, and we'll catch up on the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.